Okay, welcome everybody to pregame for Sword Coast Chronicles. I am DM Galaband, and the players are slowly gathering on the Discord and in the Roll20. And if technology cooperates with us, we might be able to introduce our new player tonight. Yeah, we'll have almost a full house. James is traveling this week, family vacation, but we're expecting everybody else.
Hello.
Hey, Paul. How are you doing, sir?
Very good. How are you?
Good.
Buddy.
Hey. Okay, come on. Update. Of course, you're going to take a long time to update, you dumb thing. There we go. All right, so how's everybody doing this evening?
Great.
Pretty well.
Good.
Pretty good.
We have 3 sessions left until we hit session 100.
God damn.
So start thinking about anything that you might like to do to mark that. In the Sunday game, we played, if I recall correctly, we played kind of a shortened session, and then we spent, after the break, we spent time just talking about what everybody's favorite memory from the first 100 sessions was. Don't know if we want to do something like that, or if we just want to say, hey, session 100, and off we go, treat it like a normal session, or if there's anything we want to do special. So think about that, chat it over in Discord over the next couple of weeks, and we'll come up with a plan if there's anything special people want to do.
I quite like the sound of a campfire, tell your fondest memory kind of thing. That's quite a nice recap. I think a recap would be quite cool, 100 sessions.
I agree.
Because that is a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
Like, how long is this? What, 3 years now? Because I think it's been almost 2 years since, or maybe even longer than 2 years. Quite some longer than 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, this game started on midweek. It started right around the beginning of the year in 2019, I think, because we did like a Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve.
Black Friday.
Black Friday. That's what it was. We did a Black Friday. We did a Black Friday. Lost Mine at Phandalin. And then it wasn't, I don't think it was the very next week, but it was within a couple of weeks after that.
We started the Roll Recruits campaign.
Yes, which was the campaign where we played through Dragon of Icefire Peak. And my idea with that game was to do a short game, get a core group of players together and get them kind of used to each other. And then we would roll into a long-term campaign when we had kind of that core group. And as expected, a few people carried over. A couple of people decided, oh, okay, that was fun, but I'm not sure I want to get involved in the long-term campaign. They dropped out. But we did have that core group of people who knew each other and were able to, kind of have that instant, it felt a little bit more like people around the table that had been playing together for a while than a bunch of strangers that just met in the first session. So I kind of like that. I think that's whenever I get to the point that I'm ready to start another long-running campaign, I might do the same thing. Have sort of a short game to get the players used to each other and then roll that into a long game. All right, well, by the clock on the system tray, it looks like we are at the top of the hour. I am going to go to the Sirenscape. We love the lovely musicians playing in our friendly tavern, but they always seat us right near the stage, and that's a little bit loud. So we're going to turn them down, and we are going to say, welcome, everybody. Welcome to Sword Coast Chronicles. This is session 97, session that I would like to call the Tabaxi Hunter. And the reason is that last time on this here program, the party were exploring Old Omu. They were still trying to pull together these puzzle cubes. They went to the Temple of Kupazan over here, and they found the cube. This time, they got it all in one try because they're starting to catch on to what this crazy Assailant wants them to do. They had to deal with the retracting beams that you had to walk on around the edge of the room over the 30-foot deep pit filled with sharpened spikes. And they had to replace the cube on the pedestal with something of equal weight, which the dice rolls allowed them to do just fine. And Thaldohr had a couple of close calls, but with that roguish acrobatics, he was able to save himself from falling onto the spikes, and they got out of there in one try. And the only thing they had to deal with before going in was a Froggamoth monster that wanted to turn them into breakfast, but boopity boppity boo, a couple of spells, a couple of good whacks, and a couple of nice shots with the bow, and presto changeo, they were done with that. All right, so that is what happened in the first part of the session. Then, in the second part of the session, they started to go across town towards another area that they know contains a shrine. And as they crossed the river, they got shot at. And turns out that the shooter was a perhaps not quite altogether Tabaxi, who was, apparently thought they were enemies of some kind. He kept sniping at them until finally Thaldohr was able to get off a hypnotic pattern spell that just kind of dazed him. And at the end of the session, they had tied him up, taken away his weapons, and he was still just kind of under the effects of that spell. So we are going to change our change our soundscape over to our daytime soundscape. And you all are there with a Tabaxi. And let me go ahead and describe this Tabaxi to you now that you have gotten up close to him. This Tabaxi has coloration. I think I might even have a handout that I can give you. See, yes, there we go. I can show him to you. So this is what your Tabaxi assassin, would-be assassin looks like. He is dressed in kind of loose-fitting leather armor. He has a longbow. He has a feathered headdress. And his skin coloration is kind of like the spots of a leopard or a cheetah or something like that. And he, you can tell the whiskers and the fur around his neck and around his chin. It is white, but it is not white like the bright white of a youthful cub. It is kind of the bleached, almost bleached out color of a very elderly Tabaxi. So you have been shot at by an old man, possibly somebody who just wants you to get off of his lawn.
Get off the lawn.
So, we're going to just say that you've disarmed him, you have tied him up, and you can, slap him awake or whatever you want to do anytime. So,
Belle would do the honors of slapping him awake.
Okay.
And then she'll get so close up to his face, like their nose is almost touching, and says, "You big bag of bones," or what's a good insult, Thaldohr? I don't know any. Anyway, we have cubs. You have to be more careful than that. That is a very inconsiderate thing to do.
Oh, and then he kind of strains against his bonds. He says, "Oh, gods of the hunt, I am defeated. I have failed in my quest. Oh, you have proven to be the better hunters this day. Come, let me lead you to my den. I will feed you stew, and we will drink wine. You have proven yourselves to be very worthy indeed. And no, I am not a bag of bones, you cub, you. I am Bag of Nails is my name. Say it with pride, girl."
Belle will stick out a finger and then she'll hit. Sorry, terrible if I don't care.
Sorry, that was funny.
And he looks at the others and he says, "She is very rude."
And you almost killed our babies.
Yeah, she I mean, you can't really blame her. She is a bit miffed with the fact that you fired a bow and arrow at some kids. And to be honest, I kind of want to kill you for it, so being a bit rude versus brutally murdering you in your sleep. I mean, and she's being remarkably nice.
And he looks at you and he says in perfect dwarvish, but Dwarvish that has an odd accent, because you've probably never heard Dwarvish spoken by a Tabaxi before.
Sorry.
He says, Master Dwarf, I would watch that cub, and he points a finger at Belle. She is dangerous.
I agree, she is dangerous, but in lots of different ways. Look, I've seen her climb on top of a giant's face and claw its eyeball out, so quite frankly, you're preaching to the choir, mate.
Oh, you have fought giants. Well, yes. Help me up. I will lead you to my den. We will sup, and you can tell me some of your adventures, and maybe you can help me find my son.
Point of reference, very quickly. As we had him, I believe, unconscious or charmed for the duration, would we have a time to disarm him?
Oh, yeah. I'm presuming that while he was kind of stunned, you've already disarmed him. And he's kind of tied up, but he's just he's asking you to help him stand up. My presumption is he's tied at the wrists, he's tied at the ankles, or, but I don't know if you guys would have tied his wrists to his ankles or anything like that. So, you guys would have to figure out what you're comfortable with.
Reminder, he is a Tabaxi, so he has organic fighting power too. It isn't much, and claws, but yeah.
Oh, you want us to claw him?
What? No.
I got an axe if you want to, take him off.
No, I'm saying we have to be careful because he has still a weapon on him, which we can't take out, besides if we want to declaw him or cut his fingernails. But, no.
Oh, I was thinking we just cut his hands off. No, you're right. That'd be better.
Wow, that got dark quick.
Yeah, no. Nobody's cutting anybody's hands off. It's okay.
Did he say that in
Realizes
Dwarvish or
he's defeated.
common?
Oh, I speak in common normally. He doesn't. I don't. In my mind, it takes Krenraid a couple of seconds to jump between the languages because he's a bit slow. So I'm kind of representing that by jumping between them very slowly. But he says in Dwarvish. While on that topic, I do believe that he fired some kind of poison at you, which did it changed the color of your skin. So are you okay?
Who'd he hit with the poison?
Well, I know he hit the griffin.
Was it the griffin?
With the poison. I'm not sure if he hit.
I didn't get hit with anything. I still have full health.
So
He tried to hit Thaldohr, but missed.
Yeah, he missed Thaldohr when they were on the bridge.
Didn't he hit? I must be thinking of something else. Sorry. Sorry. He hit the griffin, and the griffin looked a bit weird. Do you want to check what he had on him? Maybe he's got some more of that stuff hidden away, because it looked pretty bad.
I can ask.
I'm not
bag
going
of
to
nails.
tell you. No, yeah, go on.
Yes, he responds, looking at Thaldohr.
What was the source of the stuff that you put on your arrows?
Oh, I have more of that in my den. You have defeated me. I can give you some of that. If you
It sounds
wish.
like a plan. I might just share what poisons I have with you.
Oh, that might be a very profitable trade for us both.
How about, I still think I have a vial of spider venom poison that paralyzes. So yeah.
Yeah, whatever you would, out of character, whatever you would have in your inventory, I'll presume you.
Oh, I got the drow poison too. There you go.
Yeah, you got some real deadly. Didn't we find the worm poison too? I'm pretty sure at one point. The purple worm poison? Like there was a nest of them?
Yeah. I've got a bunch of different poisons.
Yeah, you're the go-to guy, so you may want to have a look at whatever the hell that was.
Exactly. So, can I grab one of his arrows and test and see what that was?
Yeah, you can do a check on that. Do you have a poisoner's kit?
I do.
Okay, so go ahead and roll with that, and we can figure out what your
Give me a second.
While he's doing that, Belle will kind of squint and then look at him and say, "Well, where's your tribe? Your son's gone, or mysteriously disappeared. But where's the rest of you?"
Oh, little cub. I am all that is left. I am all that is left of my tribe. I have been here
why?
because we were hunted, and my son, he fled into the jungle. I thought perhaps he may have come towards Omu, and I heard on my way here of an item that might help me find it. If I could only lay my hands on the navel of the moon, I might be able to locate where my son is. Tell me, you have not seen this item, have you?
He'll kind of look back at the others. And, they need to help him find his son or something. We haven't found any other, weird things besides the cubes.
So I'm just eating a snack. I've never heard of a navel, though. What's that?
Your belly button.
Oh, I got one of those. What do you need it for?
He's saying that what he's looking for is actually called that. It's not an actual belly button.
Oh, okay. Right, never heard of it.
Oops. I'm putting that in Discord.
Oops, I'm sorry. I was trying to.
What is the ability for that kit? Is it intelligence?
I think to identify it, it would be intelligence, and then you would add your, because you're proficient with that, you would add your proficiency.
Got you. Yeah. 18.
Ooh, okay. Good. That is pretty good. Yeah, by sniffing at this, you notice that that it is laced with a rather odd poison to use, because normally it is used as an ingested poison, and that is midnight tears.
Ah.
So
Interesting choice of poison and interesting delivery method.
you can never be too careful, and you cannot find everything out here, this accursed place. But come, we should get inside before dark,
How
when the
wide
real
is the
monsters will be out.
How wide is the city?
How wide is the city?
Or how many miles is it across? And
Just scale.
Yeah, there's a scale. If you zoom out, you can use your measuring thing to
oh, okay.
yeah, to see how big it is.
So that spell covers majority of the whole place that you're wanting to cast.
Oh, actually, no. I was looking at a different spell. That one I was just trying to look at, and I accidentally poked the wrong button.
Yeah.
All been there. All been there. Don't worry about it.
That just doesn't seem right. 1,000 feet?
Well, yeah, for locate object, yeah.
No. What she's the scale down below,
Oh, right.
and then
Well, there's ups and downs and things like that too. So
Yeah,
probably-
it's less
the grid-
than 3 miles in either direction. Yes, no.
pretty much, yeah.
All right. Well, once we get where we're going, Dez is going to ask some questions, but we'll get.
Okay,
I
so
want
let's
to cast the spell.
now or then.
Then, when we get to
Okay,
wherever
all
we're
right.
going.
So the he has asked to let him lead you to his lair. Do you want to go with him? Do you enable him to move? Because
Belle will turn to him and say, "Swear on what's left of your clan that no harm will be brought to us to go to your lair."
Isn't he the only one though?
No, it's his son too.
Oh, he's not
So,
scared.
if he breaks our trust, then I will find your son myself. And I don't
Oh.
want to tell you what I will do to your son, okay? But I will help you find your son if you do take care of us too.
That's kind of dark, Belle.
he gives you a look, and for a moment, kind of the upper lips pulls back, and you can see his canine teeth. But then he relaxes, and he says, and he raises one paw, or I guess his wrists are bound, so he sort of raises his paws up in front of him, bound together at the wrists, and he says, "I swear on my son's life that no harm will befall you by my hand getting to my lair."
Insight check this guy.
Okay.
Is he gonna try to screw us over, or is he being
I'm
honest?
just thinking about traps. But I know Tabaxis are very strong about their bonds to their
Guidance.
tribe, which is why I brought that in.
Oh my god! You know what? I'm gonna use my inspiration
Okay.
and use guidance.
And Bella is also kind of looking into him too, so can she roll one too?
Yeah, if you want to see if he's on the level. Yeah, Falashur and Bell both believe that he is being completely sincere when he tells you that he is that no harm will befall you by his hand on the way to his lair. So,
Belle will kind of shrug her shoulders and then point to someone to untie him. Or at least his legs, anyhow.
Or does.
Or Krenraid can throw him over his shoulder and then do that.
He has to show us where it's. I don't mind letting him walk. and tie a rope off of his hands to let him lead us until we get there.
Yeah, I don't think he could outpace us, so unless he's got like some spooky finger waggling thingamabob, we should be alright.
All right. So he will hold out his hands, let you do whatever you're gonna do, tie a lead to him basically, and then you, I guess, loosen that a little bit to let him be able to walk. Do you like completely unbind his legs, or do you keep it kind of like
Unbind him.
people on a chain gang where he can't take a stride that's too long? He has to
But
kind of
we want to
shuffle a
get
little
there
bit.
before dark. What time is it?
It's afternoon.
Then I unbind his legs.
Okay. All right. So he looks and he says, "Do you have all of my gear? You do not leave my arrows behind. You do not leave my bow. You have my short sword, yes. Okay, well, we can go." And he will lead you about half a block down, and then he turns into an alley off to the right, and he goes through jogs through a couple of different alleys, twisting left and right, and he comes to a 3-story building. And there is most of the buildings that you're passing by, the doorways are completely empty. There's no door in the doorways. Maybe there's a couple of rusted hinges on the door frame, but there's no actual door. As you're approaching, there is a door that looks like it's been cobbled together out of different planks, things. It's cut to a fairly even size, but one plank of wood is one color, another plank of wood is a different color, and kind of different kinds of wood making this up. And there's a handle on it, and he goes up to it, and he takes his wrists and he reaches out and he twists the handle, and then he kind of pushes the door open, and he says, "Welcome to my lair. I use this ground floor here for storage, but I live on the second floor. Come up the stairs in the back." And he sort of points towards the stairs, and there's a sort of a stone stairway that's built into the back wall of this that leads to the second level. And he will walk on in ahead, and he starts walking up the stairs, and they seem, solid and everything. And as you get in here, everybody can go ahead and make me a perception check, if you will. All right. Well, Dez and Thaldohr and Thaldohr, as you cross the ground floor and get towards the stairs, you hear something moving up above. it is moving kind of like it's kind of moving in an awkward way, but it might be the sound of a person moving up there.
Does Bag of Nails
Pull
speak
my
common?
crossbow.
Yeah, he's been speaking common, he
So,
spoke
okay.
Tabaxi, and he spoke dwarf.
So Dez's ears twitch like a cat's would almost, and he looks over at the older Tabaxi and goes, "You have company? Who is upstairs?"
Oh, I have a guest. I have a guest. You shall meet her. Come.
Okay.
And everybody climbs up the stairs. And as you get into this space, the room that he has up, or this building is like a 25-foot by 25-foot building. And each of the levels seems to be one big room without any permanent walls. But as you get to the second level, you can see that this area is divided by curtains that are strung along ropes. And those curtains can be pulled back or stretched out. And over in one little corner, there is a cot and some furs. Then there's like an old broken down chest of drawers that has a few little knickknacks on it and some clothes stuffed into the drawers which don't close right. There's an area over by one window where the floor has a laid out ring of about 12 stones that are each about the size of 2 fists. And the stone floor of this building, because all 3 floors seem to be made of stone here, the stone floor shows signs of charring, like this is a place that repeatedly where a fire is made. And indeed, there's like a little stack of firewood off in one corner. There's a what was probably at one time an armoire, but the doors have been ripped off of it, and some makeshift shelves have been put in there, and hanging from a bar across the top, there are several skinned and drying carcasses of small game animals like rabbits and squirrels and things like that. And there's an assortment of sort of like root vegetables on some of those shelves that are in there. And there's a battered pot and a battered kettle that are there. Oh, whoops. Can you hear me? You hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
We heard you
Yeah,
fine.
we hear
I think
you.
it was. I think it might have been your own leg, Goonie.
Oh, okay. All right. So anyway, he has all of this there, and then over near one wall, you see a figure laying on the floor. It is a human woman. She is gagged. And she is bound. Her wrists are tied behind her back. Her legs are bound. And she, as she sees Bag of Nails coming, her eyes kind of grow wide, clearly with a sense of apprehension. She is clearly afraid of this person. And then she sees you all, and there is a mix of uncertainty, fear. I mean, like it's all the emotions try to play. She doesn't know whether she should be relieved, whether she should be scared, whether this is something that's going to mean life is about to get worse for her, or life is about to get better for her. And Marilyn, out of character, tell us as much as you can about what this tied up woman looks like, what color hair she has, how tall she seems to be, those types of things, if you can.
You're muted on Discord, by the way.
Oh,
I have absolutely no idea.
okay. Okay.
I figured
How do you imagine it? Like
a
in your
female
own
with
mind?
brown hair, and she's not wearing a bunch of skimpy clothing. She looks, she's really funny.
Okay. So she's dressed like somebody that is out here with a purpose, but she doesn't have any gear. However, several of you guys had high perception checks, and I'm going to let that carry over into this room. There's another corner where there's kind of like a tarp that has been pulled over sort of a pile of stuff. And kind of like a tarp or a blanket is over a pile of stuff. And every few moments, the woman's eyes just sort of dart towards that pile.
Des kind of comes up and takes in everything and looks over at Bag of Nails. We've still got his hands tied, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And tisks lightly. You old codger. What is this?
Well, this is my guest.
And you treat your guests like this?
Well, until I get to know them, I don't know if I can trust them now, do I?
I see. Well, I would say it would be kind of you to untie her.
Well,
Because she looks about half scared out of her mind.
if you want me to untie her, it might be kind of you to untie me first. Ah,
I think
I
I
mean-
will. At that point in time, Des walks over and pulls out a knife and begins cutting at the ties around her.
okay.
Hands
So describe for Marilyn who is this person that is walking over and pulls out a knife and begins to lean down with it over her bonds.
So he is what they call a furbolg, but basically he has kind of a brownish gray with a slight tint of blue skin. He's got very long blonde hair that's kind of pulled up, part of it pulled up kind of almost in a man bun in the back of his head with sticks and twigs in it. He is 7'10", so he is very tall. And he's got kind of soft golden brown eyes. He almost kind of looks, he's got long ears that kind of stick out a little bit, kind of off to the side. So you'll have to just, if you have a monster book or look at the internet, you'll be able to find some pictures of what a furbolg roughly looks like. So, but he's 7'10", and he basically comes over. He has an antler handled small knife, and he kind of gives you a very kind smile, and then begins to cut away at your bonds.
Yes. So the as the cords are cut, they've been biting into your wrists, biting into your ankles, and
And
feels much better now that those cords are cut.
Once he does that, he also will cast let's see here, Cure Wounds on her.
Okay.
And see here. What do I need to do with this? Oop. Okay. So she would technically get 10 healing points or health points back. So
Okay.
all of the wounds and the strains and everything from it, from rubbing, trying to get free, they all heal.
Okay. Don't mark that spell off as being used. We're going to count this as a narrative casting of that
That's
spell
fine.
instead of a one of your spell slots for the day.
Okay.
Yeah, she looks relatively healthy, a little pale, a little thin, kind of like maybe she hasn't eaten enough recently, but she doesn't seem sick. And it's clear that this is a person with very toned muscles, and it has an athletic build. She seems like somebody that rest her up a little bit, and she would probably be able to take care of herself.
Yeah. So as he tries to help her stand up, he pulls out of his bag a piece of beef jerky. You look hungry.
And she looks at it with the gag in her mouth.
Oh, hopefully with her hands free, she can take that out.
Oh, okay. All right.
Belle looks slightly offended at Des, saying, "That's my jerky," to herself in her head.
And so, let's see. So, Marilyn, your character can take the gag out of her mouth, and this kindly giant of a man is standing there with some jerky in it. Smells tasty. And your stomach growls because you're not quite sure how long it's been since you've eaten, but you haven't had a good meal in as long as you can remember. So would you take that jerky?
She's muted again.
Oh, okay.
I think it's on her phone, so reacting might be a bit difficult. Because Discord, you got to unmute on your phone and then do it through that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Ken can help.
Yeah.
Ken?
My God.
Yeah.
Do
You
what?
know,
What?
yeah.
Did you just wake up? What?
She's AFK.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. Well,
All right. So we'll just presume that she takes that, and
Just still taking stock of the situation kind of thing. Just know what to think. Yeah.
And just kind of rubbing her hands, her wrists, even though she doesn't need to because of the healing, but just sort of a reflexive as something to do. And then she kind of just every once in a while keeps eyeing that pile over there in the corner.
No, I think you said something about wine.
Oh,
And
Bag
I
of
don't
nails.
think you said anything about having company.
He did not. But in all fairness, this is his house, so he wouldn't have to, would he?
Yes. Yes, I have some wine. And I can make stew if you want me to. I have some rabbit and some vegetables. And in that barrel over there is some water. And I have a small keg of wine that I can get. And he goes over to one of the corners and he pulls back this curtain, and there's kind of this makeshift little corner cabinet that has some canisters and bottles and a small cask on it. A cask that's probably like maybe 10 gallons or so. And so he goes to that, and he reaches over to a cabinet and he pulls out several cups. They're all mismatched. Some of them are wooden cups. Some of them are metal. There's nothing so fancy as a porcelain or a glass drinking vessel here. It's all the kind of stuff that you might expect to find in a peasant farmhouse, and it all looks like it's been around for a long time. You're not sure how clean it is, but
I've got my own horn. Don't worry, thank you.
And he reaches over, and as he reaches over and as he begins to start pouring, why didn't everybody give me a perception check?
I will give myself guidance on that, even though it's not going to make much of a difference.
That still adds up. It adds up. Extra is always welcome.
17. Can you guys hear my chair squeak?
Yes,
Yeah.
A little bit.
A
Yeah.
little bit.
Okay.
That's fine.
I need to graze it here soon.
Oh, wow. Okay. So let's see. What did you guys all get? Okay. Yeah. Well,
Are we rolling perception again?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Des,
Yes.
you have the eagle eyes today. You
Apparently.
notice that as he is pouring wine from the cask into these cups, he also has a small vial of a dark liquid that he is trying to slip a couple
How
of
far
drops.
away is he?
Well, if you're in the same room, he's probably no more than about, he can't be more than about 15 feet away.
Okay. So since Dez's stride could probably handle 6 to 7 feet at a time, he literally takes like 3 huge steps and grabs a hold of the wine cask and whatever, or would like to try to grab the cask and the hand that holds the little vial.
Okay.
And what do you need me to roll to see if I'm successful?
Why don't you roll an unarmed attack roll, because I'm going to call this a grapple. You're trying to grapple this.
Okay, so unarmed is a d20 plus
D20 plus your strength, and if you unless you are proficient with unarmed fighting, and then you add your proficiency as well.
Let's see here. It doesn't say that. It just says simple weapons. So
then, yeah, just D20 plus your strength bonus. 17. And so he is going to try to jerk away from you to avoid the grapple, which will be a contested, and he fails. So you are able to grab a hold of this cask, and you grab a hold of his other wrist, and you see that he has a clay jar, about a pint jar, and it has some viscous dark liquid that a couple of drops of it spill on the floor, and he's holding it, and he looks at all of you very startled, and then he
leans
just
down slightly
uh-huh.
closer to him and goes, "And here I was going to offer to help find your son. But if you are trying to poison us, I think that I will save my spell for something better."
You're trying to what? You rude bastard.
So
And about that time, he tries to jerk the small clay jug out of his hand.
okay, he is too startled to fight against that, so you are successful in pulling that out of his hands. And as you turn around, Thaldohr, you look at the liquid that is in that little jug, and you recognize that's the same poison that he had on his arrows.
And so
Really? Now
he
you
basically-
want to poison this? Why?
He's still holding on to the cask in one hand, and he basically, without taking his eyes off of this creature, he holds out the poison little jug to Thaldohr to take.
So Thaldohr, do you want to take the little vial of poison?
Kind of,
I
he's
do.
just kind of reaching behind
Okay.
him, like, somebody take this. You know?
Oh yeah, no,
Right.
Yeah, I take the
I'm already.
poison.
Okay,
Right behind
so he is you take the poison, and
Yep.
you can see somewhere over there on the floor of the or over there on the little counter is the top for it that you can get to eventually. It's
I
got
pour
kind
all
of
the
like
wine into the fireplace, or I'm sorry, we're in a den. I just
Yeah.
poured on the floor in the corner, and
The poison?
say,
or
yeah,
the-
no, the cups he's already
Oh.
poisoned.
I don't think that he poured it into the canister of thing. I think he was trying to pour it into the
Did you
cups.
pour it in the cups or the cap?
It looked like what he was describing was, as he's pouring it, he's trying to hide the vials so that drops of it'll fall into the
yeah, he was trying to put the poison into the cups at the same time he was filling the cups from the
Got
cask.
you.
And about that time, he yanks the cask out of his hand and hands it over to, kind of behind him, trying to give it to Krenraid. And then he looks over at Belle and says, "I believe we should put the bindings back on him."
I've got a friend who'd be very disappointed in you. Sorry, carry on.
Well, we did try and give you some luck, but now you lost it, didn't you? I thought you were trying to be sweet and nice, but on your word, on your tribe, and on your son.
I promised you that no harm would befall you coming to my lair. I didn't say anything about promises once you got here.
Okay, to be fair, that's cunning, but you know the rule of how, do you not? You don't try to kill your guests.
How do I know that you are not creatures of his?
Of what?
Of what?
Of his.
Okay, you're gonna have to be more specific. Yeah, like we don't know who that is. I mean, he's a his.
That's exactly what his creatures would say, isn't it?
I've never met them. I don't know what they would say. Was that what they would say?
You mean a Sararak?
Don't say that name so loud.
Des kind of whispered it to him, like he's still kind of leaning down, looking at him in the face.
Oh, why? What's going to happen? Something bad? Sararak?
Oh, no, you have to say it in front of a mirror 3 times. I've heard of this in a pub. Hold on, I think I've got one in my pack. Hold on.
Let's not.
Don't tempt him. His ears are everywhere. His creatures are everywhere.
Say that you are not one of his creatures.
Also, I haven't seen any ears anywhere, so I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I've got ears and she's got ears, but...
I have good ears.
You do have good ears, that's true.
He says, I came here to end it. You have found me out. I was going to take your lives and take your skins as my trophies.
Oh, he's straight up a psychopath.
You have defeated me. So, I am your prisoner. There is nothing left for me. My son has been gone all these years. He is lost. He has been consumed by that damnable creature. I know it. I have nothing left. And he kind of falls to his knees and he just like turns towards Krenraid and he kind of closes his eyes. He puts his hands down by his side and he cranes his head back. And he just sort of is offering his neck to you.
Okay, I actually kind of respect that hustle. You know what's coming, so you know you got some sanity left in you. I kind of feel like we should kill him though. He's quite clearly in pain. I feel like I need to put him out of his misery. But what do you guys think?
Belle will kind of like hiss at Kindred saying it out loud, even though she understands like this guy doesn't deserve to live, especially trying to kill us twice now and trying to riddle us out of being safe. Why do you turn to try and kill others that are hoping or willing to try and help you find your son? Now that's something stupid, ain't it? She'll kind of flick him right in the nose.
No.
Why don't you think before you do? Flick. And why don't you appreciate that saw signs of someone coming here. And she flicks a little bit harder. And then she'll turn to him and say, my tribe has been killed since I was a little cub, and I had to find my way out in the wild by myself. And you think you can just give up so easily, especially knowing that there's other ones out there? Who do you think you are? And she'll actually raise her claws out and swipe at his face.
Damn.
A bit of torture. Nice. Well,
Ez is like trying to kind of move back away from him so he avoids the claws.
And he would normally have a an armor class of 15, but he's not trying to flinch or anything from your attack. So your attack lands, and you gash him across the face, and some blood wells up on his fur. And he says, "Nobody ever comes here except to take. Nobody has come here in ages except to take. The snake people come, and all they find, they either kill, or they turn, or they sacrifice to their dark god. The ones in the red robes come. They seek to plunder whatever meager baubles are still here. And I've overheard enough of their conversations. They don't come to stop him. They come to learn his secrets and make them their own. And
they're all dead.
They're dead.
Some of them are dead.
Well, how many Red Robe people are here? That was one hell of a group.
Yeah, it was a lot of them.
I mean, that was the biggest group we seen when we got here.
When's the last time they came and plundered?
I have seen in these last months, there have been at least 3 groups of the red-robed ones that have come. The last one was over a 10-day ago. And you guys know you've only been here. This is like your 3rd day, maybe? Your 3rd full day. And the ones that were killed were here like a day before you. So, judging by what you could tell. Now, you don't know how long they had been around, but the first group got taken by the snake people under the temple in the north of the city. The second group, they fell to the King of Feathers. Served them right. The last group, they found something, and they said they were going in, and they never came back out.
Going in where?
Into a secret place. I did not hear them say where.
No. You didn't follow them? You had no idea where?
No. I'm very careful. I'm
Okay.
usually not ever seen unless I want to be seen. You lot have the sharpest eyes of any who have come.
We've seen a lot of really messed up things over the past year. That really kind of changes a dwarf. or a cat, or fur, or
Furbog.
thank you, or a human, or a half and why the half of you again?
Yes, the point is.
Oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, the point, the point is, right, you clearly you know the lay of the land, you've willingly shared your stories with us, even though you clearly are a bit mentally ill. I think you need to hit your head against some granite for a bit, as we like to say in the Dwarf Kingdom, but I think we'll have to just deal with the fact that you're around. I personally still feel like we kill him, but what do you guys think? I mean, maybe we could send him somewhere else using the helm of teleportation. Maybe like somewhere he can get help or something.
Well, if what he says is true, and the sun is kidnapped by what's his big old face, maybe we can help find this idiot's way and help future for his son.
Okay, how about this? Right, let the guys chime in. Give group huddle. Right, my thought, and I've only got like a couple, so this is one. Is that we can get him to draw us a map of the stuff that he knows. Obviously, I don't think we should trust it, 100%, but maybe just a general outline might be useful. Or things that he's seen, places he's seen things go and things like that. We can compare that with what we see, and then hopefully we can work something out. But we ask for that, and I don't think we should ask for much else. I don't think he's, quite frankly, in the right frame of mind. And then we can use the helm of teleportation or summon. Maybe we could use the conch and send him back to the giants, and they can take care of him. Actually, I'm not sure they would. Maybe that wouldn't be a good idea. They might just kill him.
Yes, I think that would. I think you would be best off asking him if he wanted to go somewhere specific.
Oh, hold on. Yeah, what was your name again? Nail. Oh yeah, Nail Man.
Bag of nails.
Okay. I don't have a bag of nails, but I do have some loose nails. Do you want those?
That's his name.
His name is Bag of Nails.
Oh. Okay.
Brothers and sisters normally focus on objects to name ourselves after.
Oh, is that how you do it?
Yes.
Is that why you're? Oh, that's why you're called Bell. Oh, I get it. I just thought it was a nice sounding name. I didn't really get the what's that word again? Connotation. No, is it? Yeah. Okay. Bag of nails. Do you have? Well, you had a bit of a dwarven accent. I couldn't quite place it. But do you have some place you want to go? Like, do you have family somewhere other than this hell? Maybe it's a dwarven family, considering you speak it pretty well.
I have missed these last months. I have missed the streets of Port Nyanzaru.
How long have you
I
been
could go
here?
there.
How long have you been here?
We used to live in a small village about 30 minutes outside of Port Nyanzaru. A year ago, hunters came in the night. Vicious. They killed people in their sleep. They killed the men. They killed the women. They killed the children. They killed the children. They're the real monsters. Some fled. Some of us fought. I got in a skirmish, and the one that I was fighting was wounded, and he tried to flee, and I chased him, and I chased him, and I chased him till I cut him down. And by the time he was dead, I could not hear anyone from the village, hunter or villager alike. I hid. And then I crept back to the jungle by the morning light. And all that was left were the bodies. All they took were the skins of my people. I'll never forgive them. Never. But then I saw the signs that I had taught my son. Signs of woodcraft. That he had escaped. He left a trail. That trail led in the direction of Omu. I caught glimpses of signs of his from time to time on my way here, but I never caught up to him. He must be here somewhere. But with all of these people that have come in these last few months, all of the death, I cannot hold out hope that he still survives. Only
Where
the
did
legend.
he leave? You think he is in this area?
I do not know. There is a legend. A legend that one of those in the red robes, one who was wounded by the King of Feathers, but it took him a long time to die. He lingered long enough that I could find him and I could bring him back here. And I let him think that I would nurse him back to health. But I asked him what he knew, why he was here, what he sought. And among the things he told me was the navel of the moon. It could help you find someone. It could help you find someone if you knew who they were. It would show you where they are. I thought perhaps if I could get my hands on that. Before he died, I had to hurt him to make him tell me where he thought it was. He gave me 4 locations, and none of them proved true. I think he spoke false to me. So now you see why I would not trust anyone that comes close to my lair. All of you, faithless, murderers, worthless, deserving death. All of you. And then he just sort of collapses back, and he begins shaking a little bit, and you realize that he's just soundlessly sobbing.
Right. I'm punching him unconscious.
Okay.
Walk up, pull up his chest, doing non-lethal damage.
Yeah. And he just He topples over. He's out.
Elf
But you
once
can't-
just seems emotionless. She just seems zoned out. And she's basically shut off.
Okay, well, maybe some of us should go check on that lady he had tied up, because that probably wasn't, on the level. We'll tie this guy up, then maybe we should teleport him back to the port. Maybe they've got some guards there we can give him into. The chances are it's nearby. Maybe he's killed some people he shouldn't have. And if we find anything to do with his navel or the moon or whatever, we can send him a letter or something. But I don't think we should, waste much more time on this. What do you guys think?
Bowser would have to use the helm. I mean,
Yeah.
Out of character, I know Belle wants to ask him about the drums that we were hearing. That's kind of to the northeast, up in that big circle area. And then she also wants to ask about the big, huge monster that's been terrorizing the city. But Belle's in no condition to talk or do anything at the moment.
Yeah, I don't think he's in much condition to carry on, to be honest with you. It seems like every time he thinks about this, he loses a bit more of his own mind. This guy needs to be locked somewhere up where he can get some help and be hit very hard with his
His existence
stone.
is misery, and he's
His existence
worthy
is-
to suffer.
I might be. We can make him suffer if that's what you want to do. Like, I saw that you clawed him.
So Des was also wanting to ask him about the 4 locations for this thing, thinking that if we come across them, we might be able to maybe find it in one of those places.
Because we all know he's not the sharpest.
Yeah.
I would actually say that he probably would have a good time finding them, because what we know about him is that he's a hunter with great eyesight. He can shoot targets at very long distance. He can track targets as well. Like, I'd say if he had, I'm not saying he wouldn't find something, but it's fairly likely he'd stand a good chance.
Still, if it's along the way, whenever we're going to visit places, then we can. Or the 4 locations is a hint to where to find it. Almost like how we're going to all these different areas to get the cubes. To be able to make the... Yeah.
How about this then? We could teleport him to the prison guardhouse, right? We'll sit with him until he wakes up. We can get him to draw us a map which highlights those locations. You can ask your questions, and then we can leave him with the guards there. Teleport back, and we're still quite near the the lava recluse, so we can go to there and we should be all right? Because it's got the 1, 2, and the 3 uses, right?
Did
like a plan.
helm of teleportation?
Yeah.
Because I know one of that, I don't remember which one, but we the caster needs to know the area to where to teleport to, or else it might fail and whatever.
Yeah, that is the helm, yeah. Well, we need to take him somewhere out of here, because this place is just death.
Well, I mean, we can't teleport him in the middle of that fire pit and keep him captive until we find his son, so we at least know where to find him.
I think he might just jump off and kill himself.
Krenraid's idea is better.
But at least this is a way to find a source of humanity. Like, there's some humanity left in the world, some hope, some reason to live.
Well,
if he doesn't kill himself beforehand.
We will simply explain to him that we're keeping him here where he can be safe, he can relax, and we will, as we are trying to find our way through this maze of places to find these puzzle pieces, we will also look to see if we can't find, this moon's
thing to find
navel.
the sun.
Yeah. And if we are lucky and we can find it, we will bring it to him.
I agree. That's what I was thinking too. Because,
But
he maybe he can
yes,
redeem himself a bit.
Leave him in someone else's care so he can't off himself.
But it's also the fact I don't really feel comfortable toting around a poison psychopath.
No.
I mean, especially once what they did to that wine, that was sacrilegious. If Tak was here, Tak would have killed him.
Oh, I believe so. But we need to figure out where we're dropping him after we ask him some questions. But we have to make him believe us that we are doing this to try to help him, trying to help find this stone or whatever it is, and go from there. You know, that we will bring it back to him if we can find it. You know?
Agreed, yeah. Thaldohr, you have people you know in Phandalin, right? Is that where you're from? I think so.
Yeah, it's where my uncle's from and where I was raised. Yeah, why?
Yeah, because we went to the pub and met those nice people. Do they have like a guard house that you think could be secure enough? Like you said, your dad was like, or your uncle? Your uncle was like a Thieves Guild guy?
He's the president and founder of the Thieves Guild of Phandalin.
Oh, brilliant. So person in power, that's perfect. Do you reckon he'd have a couple of people that could keep this guy, you know, safe from himself for a bit while we deal with this rubbish?
Yeah.
You could take him to Phandalin, then it'd be alright.
Yeah, it'd be one heck of a trip, but yeah.
We have to teleport him, because we've been there before.
Yeah, we could. I'd have to get a message to my uncle first. It'd be kind of rude just to show up with, no offense, a random Tabaxi.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean...
Wait, I have a scroll of message. I think I can use that.
I mean, a scroll would probably take a long time to get there, though, unless you got like a really fast pigeon.
No, I pulled one of the scrolls out of my bag. This. Just let me go send this message real quick. It's finger waggling, Krenraid.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah.
It's got the... Okay, yeah, gotcha.
So I walk over to the corner, pull out the scroll, and just say, hey, Uncle, I need your help. I got a Tabaxi named Bag of Nails. Needs to be kept under supervision and needs help. We'll bring him ASAP.
All right. You send that message, and you get a response. I'll compose that response and send it to you by PM. In the meantime, you guys have an unconscious Tabaxi. And you have this lair here. You know there was kind of storage down on the first floor. On a different wall, not the back wall, but on a different wall, there's another stone staircase going up to a third level. This appears to be kind of the level where he lives and cooks and sleeps and everything. But do you want to take advantage of any of that time while he's unconscious? What do you want to do?
Oh, yeah. I'll be definitely searching on.
Okay. All right. So you guys will search around and you find a couple of things. You find kind of upstairs, you find that he has what probably would be his more valuable things. He has a little bench up there, and a bunch of blanks, basically, for arrows and the material to make his own arrows. He's got a lot of feathers and, little knife to cut the feathers with. He's got a bunch of wooden dowels, and he's got the twine to affix the arrowheads with. And he's got a variety of arrowheads. There's a number of steel or metal ones. Some of them are kind of rusted, but they're relatively sharp. Others look like they are very old arrowheads that were carved out of flint or some kind of stone. But he's got those there, and it's kind of like a little workshop. There's also a large rolled up piece of parchment there. And when you unroll that piece of parchment, you see that it is a map of this city. And it's a map that must have at one time probably hung in a library or maybe a fancy house or something like that. And it's been relatively well taken care of, but it has several different markings on it. And it has several places indicated. And by looking at the markings, and I'm going to try to put those markings on during our break, it looks like the 9 shrines of the trickster gods are marked out on this map.
Nice.
It also looks like there is a place indicated with a couple of with a few slithery marks, which might indicate the snake people. And then over by the arena, there is the word king written. And so you will find you kind of now have an idea of locations around the city.
Okay.
And then I think with that, we're going to go ahead and take our break. Okay. Let me do that. We'll go ahead and we'll take our break, and I will do some stuff marking up the map. There's a couple of other little things I need to do, and then we will come back for the next part of the session. All right, viewers, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. We are going in the second half of tonight's episode. We're going to try to get our see if our new player can get a little bit more involved. So we'll go ahead and start the break. I'm going to put the music up, and I'm going to go get a drink. And players, you all know you can hang out here and chat on the stream, or you can move to the off-stream chat if you wish. I am going to mute while I step away and grab a drink. I'll be back, everybody.
Hello.
Hello. How are you, my friend? How have you been?
Been doing good. Can't complain. Work's been alright. Kids started school Monday. So it's been fun.
It's our half term. Well, it just started anyway. So that's nice. Do you have half a term over there, or do you call it something else when the kids are off school?
Oh, we call them breaks. So they have a summer break, and it depends on where you live. But he had his first day was his first 2 days were half days, which means he got out of school early. Today was his first full day. Poor guy, he was tuckered out when he got home.
From the outside looking in, that sounds adorable.
Right.
I'd imagine it has its own complications. I'm glad we're treating you alright as well, considering I believe this does pay more than you were getting.
Yeah, it's doing well.
Good.
I can't complain too much. But no, other than that, the job is doing good. Everything there is doing good. Doctor stuff. I got an appointment on the 7th. The 17th. So we'll be good there, and just everything's going well. Kenneth, Marilyn, how y'all doing?
She's still muted.
Oh.
I think they're probably trying to get a character concept done very quickly, or something else around that mark. Not sure. I'm sure Ken can very easily do that. He's played D&D a long time. So he should be able to assist.
Okay, sorry, I didn't realize that my headphones had died. We're just sitting here trying to figure this out. It's really confusing for me.
That's okay. You have an expert's help right next to you, and you got us nerds in the call, so not to worry. Ask away.
I don't even have questions to ask yet. I'm not even there.
I'll help you. Just listen.
He can be a strict doo-doo head sometimes. Just laugh at him and he'll get upset, but it's okay. It's worth the while.
They'll be able to work it out.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
How have you been, Paul? I know it's late for you right now.
2:30 a.m. Yes, it is quite late.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this is very normal for me, because I still work for an American company, so my hours are a bit weird. I start work at around 11, 10, instead of 9 or 7. So
You're like what we call a graveyard shift.
in a way, yes. But for the American lot, yes. So the American lot work until 1 a.m. your time. And then we take over on this end, because it's a 24-hour service. And then we take over all the server management and everything else on this end, and then carry on. And then the guys in Asia pick it up from there. But yeah, we do have your graveyard shift. Yeah. Obviously for me, it's my midday. But
what time do you get off normally?
It's normally around 7, and then I normally sleep. I have a nap, eat some food, wake up, and then I normally wake up in the middle of the night for me. So this is really my morning.
Hey, wait, what time do you start? 11 p.m. your time or 11
11 a.m. normally at the moment. The times kind of vary depending on what's required, but it's normally around 11 a.m.
Oh, okay. Because you're 6 hours ahead of me.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so that makes sense.
And it has been hell. A lot of the work we do is with the NHS and their servers. And that has been incredibly rough recently. To put it in very brief terms, actual hell. But other than that, I'm alright. I've got ice cream. It's hot as Motherfucker itself.
I love how you were trying to like think of a good thing to say without cursing, and then you're like, motherfuck.
No, it really was. Honestly, I have no other way of describing it other than resorting to a swear word because it's been that hot. So I used to live in Italy for a long time. It was like 52°C on the regular, right? But after living in England for most of my life, you get used to the temperature normally hanging around like -2, and then it goes up to 42 in 2 days. Like it goes from -2 to 42°C in the span of 2 days, not even that. And everyone is literally dead. No one has air conditioning, that doesn't exist. No one buys fans in the UK, because why would we need them when it rains?
I'm okay with mine.
About to say a lot of homes don't have AC in the UK.
Like basically none. Yeah, we don't buy it over here. There's no need.
But you don't have like central heat and air units like they do both.
No, we have radiators mostly in the UK, which is hot water pumped through metal piping.
Yeah, I understand the concept of radiator.
I didn't know maybe it was different over there. Maybe you got like a different system like the aircon or something. I'm not sure.
Like
what we
from
do.
our grandmothers.
Right. Over here, radiator technology for heating homes is pretty old. Like nowadays, we use what's called central heat and air. Like we have a unit that will do your air conditioning and your heat.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I assumed you guys had moved on past the Stone Ages and like just living it up. Don't know if you can hear this, but there you go.
Yeah. I was gonna say, Paul, I can keep my house 70 degrees Fahrenheit all year round.
A stable temperature is perfect. This is exactly what you want. It's the jump from -2 to 42. I'm talking in centigrade, of course, here. To put it in context, it's like 100.
Right now. Yeah, what's your temp?
It's currently 41°C in my room. It's 105 Fahrenheit.
Jesus Christ, dude.
For people who live perpetually in rain, it is hell.
Damn.
And it's the middle of the night. I want to point it out. It's the middle of the night. There is no wind, and yet I am absolutely fulfilling the British stereotype of talking about the weather and complaining about it because this is what we do. Damn it, it's a tradition.
That is unheard of over there. I wonder your asphalt was melting.
Yeah, we've got trains were cancelled. Asphalt was melting. We had all sorts of problems. People lost power because the power lines started melting. They're not built up to that temp, shockingly. That's climate change for you. It's a real sucker.
Oh, a heat wave.
It's hit Europe now too. I've got lots of friends in Poland and Czechoslovakia and Italy and France. And they all are starting to feel it too because it's hitting us first from the northern air pocket and then it's going down. The problem is that there's no wind. I wouldn't mind it so much if there was like, a bit of wind to move the air, but it's just, there's nothing. It's completely stagnant, which is the worst kind. It's just a very dry 105 Fahrenheit with 0 wind. So yes, I have lots of ice cream, so I'm better off than some. I was prepared for this by my normal shop.
So I don't know if they sell them over there or if you have access to them, but they've got these, they're like cooling rags, but they're almost kind of a leathery feel, and they'll dry really stiff, but when you wet them down, you put them around like your neck, you can put them on your wrists, you can put them, just about anywhere. And then when they warm up from your skin temperature, you literally just take it off and give it a shake so that the air will move around it and put it back on and it's cold again. So
they're amazing.
That sounds pretty good, yeah.
I'll try to find out what the normal name for them is called, because that is something to get for things like this, because you want to keep like the top of your head, the back of your neck, your wrists and the bottom of your feet are what helps your body. You know, if your feet are hot, your wrists are hot, your head is hot, you're going to be hot. But if you can put something cool on those points, you know, that, you know, when it warms up to normal body temperature, you can simply chill it down with just shaking it and put it back on. It's going to keep your body heat down safely. And you won't feel so miserable. So, I mean, it's still not a perfect fix, but it's something that's quick and easy, and you're not constantly having to run for the ice box or trying to put it under, cold water, whatever. So
honestly, it's mostly just the fact that you basically have to shower every 2 to 3 hours because you're covered in so much sweat.
Yes. Oh goodness. Well, Paul, I feel for you because that temperature that you have, that's hotter than we normally get air temperature wise here in Florida, because we have those breezes coming off of the coast, and it keeps it from getting too bad. But the humidity is horrible here, and I know in some parts of the UK, in London, it can be very humid as well, because you're right there on the river and you're not too far away from the sea.
Oh, it's terrible in London. People were dying from heat stroke. They got hit the worst. I think they went up to 44°C, which is the highest we've ever seen in England in recorded history. And people were literally dying on the street. We had quite a lot of elderly people that were escorted to hospitals. It's just the fact that you're not used to it. Like in countries where it's normally stable around like 30 plus, then it's fine. But you get used to a temperature, and then within a day it's quadruple. It's like you just gone up by like 40 centigrade or like 80 Fahrenheit. It's just the jump really got people.
Yeah. All right, everybody. I am going to bring the music back down. Move back to our exploration soundscape, and then I'm going to go ahead and we'll take a look at this map that Bag of Nails has.
If possible, could you set up a character for MSN on D&D Beyond? Because I think that would allow Ken to have an easier time showing the content over. I think that's what Ken was asking.
Oh.
We got it. We're working on it right now.
Okay. All right. I had to share it. Had to share the campaign with her. I think, as a user, I think you create your own character, and then once it's made, I can import it into the campaign. I forget how it's done. It's been
so I think you sent like an invite to the campaign link, and then once they accept that,
character.
It should just be that, and then the content should be shared at that point, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just take a quick peek over here. Okay.
It sounds like they might have it by the sound of it.
Yeah. There we go. I can do that. And okay, no, because if I try to make it, it's me making a character for me, not me making a character for somebody else. So
we're getting her character created right now.
Cool. All right, so let's focus on the city map for the moment, and you guys will see I've made some annotations. This is based on what you have found. Last week, you may recall that we marked out with the little yellow E's the places that you have already been. And you kind of had an idea about where at least one of the other shrines was, but the scouting that the Bag of Tricks animals and the familiars had done was not too extensive yet. So Bag of Nails has the shrines marked, and those are indicated on your map with U. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 places that have a U on them are the shrines that are on Bag of Nails map. The area kind of to the north and a bit to the east of you, and likewise to the north and east of the camp where you're staying on the spire, is the place where he indicates the snake people might be found, the highest concentration of them. And then up in the northwest corner of the map, the area where you guys had previously noticed there might be something like an arena of some sort, that is where he says king. And he has, Bag of Nails has said the term King of Feathers a couple of times.
Oh boy.
So, another thing that you find is in his room where the living quarters are, that big pile kind of that's covered over by a blanket or tarp in the corner. That appears to be a pile of very serviceable, well cared for, and very well used adventuring gear. It is not the kind of stuff that matches up with anything that Bag of Nails has, but it's all kind of sized for a human, and some of the clothing makes it obvious that this is clothing and gear for a human female. So that is that pile of gear.
Cool.
There. So yet you're pretty sure that belongs to the guest that Bag of Nails had before you arrived. And then another thing that will be of interest to all of you, Thaldohr, you find a couple of other little gourds, and put all together, you find enough poison for 5 doses of midnight tears. And
Midnight tears?
midnight tears. Yes.
That's what he was trying to give us. That son of
Yes.
Ooh, that's nasty stuff.
Yes.
Say, Michael don't know what that is, but Thaldohr would.
Yeah, that is in the DMG. So when you're logged into the campaign in D&D Beyond, you can go to Chapter 8 of the DMG and look up the Midnight Tears for the stats on that. So you can add to your character sheet that you have 5 doses of Midnight Tears, and then figure out how you would want to use that.
So in wiki.under poisons, if you're already around that, or beyond too, like it's accessible for free as well, even if you don't have the box.
Yeah, I'll check that
out. And also there is enough gear to make an explorer's pack. And again, since I share material when you're logged into the campaign in D&D Beyond, you can look at the player's handbook, and all of the gear that's in an explorer's pack is available here. But other than that, he really doesn't have a whole lot that's worth much of anything. The guy lives a pretty meager existence. some of the little knickknacks. They don't have any monetary value, but Bell might recognize that they look a little bit like things that you might commonly find in a Tabaxi village. So it could be that these were some of the things that he was able to bring from his village when he went into the woods or went into the jungle looking for his son. So, or if that's really what he went into the jungle to do, the guy doesn't seem quite all there, so you don't know.
Did I ever get a response?
Oh, you did get a response, and I'm just going to tell you instead of...
That's fine, Galen. Yeah, sure.
The response you get is... interesting. We have the means to keep him safe. We will keep him from hurting himself. Let me know when to expect you.
I did tell him as soon as possible. So
yeah,
I'll probably pop up.
Yeah, so I'm guessing since you guys had several scrolls of sending, that you then once you figure out exactly when you're going to go, you give him a little bit of notice.
Yeah,
to do that.
I'll tell him I'll meet him at the bar.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
But I have to ask Thaldohr, can I borrow the helm, and can you and Krenraid go with me?
Out of character, where are you trying to go?
Back to Phandalin, so we can take Mr. Unconscious Tabaxi there to be held by the Thieves Guild for the time being.
Yeah, sure, I guess. He says, yeah, sure. Here you go. Be safe.
This is going to be interesting.
I believe Belle and Des wanted to ask some questions, so maybe they should go with you. Honestly, I don't really have anything else to say. I'll stick with these guys and keep them safe.
Fair. We won't be gone long. It'll be a blink of an eye and we'll be back.
Yeah, and if you are using the helm, Thaldohr, you know Phandalin like the back of your hand, so there's no chance of going to the wrong place. Now, you're also familiar with the place that you guys originally set up as a camp, where you found the nearly dead guy from Thay and spent some time with him. You also are very familiar with the spire in the middle of the pit of lava. But remember, you have 3 uses per day of the helm, so you guys might want to figure out where you want the party to be when you leave, so that when you come back, you can come back to a place that you're all familiar with, and then you can use the helm, or Thaldohr or Thaldohr could use the helm to go to the place that you all keep the camp.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
When I look at Thaldohr, I say, okay, I can come right back to this place because I've done seen the map. I've done, King Mind. I've done memorized this whole place.
Yeah, that's
So we
true.
could- yeah, so I could come right back here,
Yeah, you could come back to this building. That
Mhm.
would be easy.
and then I can just give the helm back to Thaldohr and we go back to the spire
Yeah.
into our fortress. So, I'm like, okay, Bell, Des, you ready? I can throw him over my shoulder when you're ready to go.
Yeah, we'll say you take a little bit of time to attune to the helm. And the Krenraid's sock to the jaw knocked the guy clean out. So he'll be out indefinitely until you need to wake him up. We'll just say that.
All right.
Not gonna worry about it.
I can knock him out again, no problem.
He's out. So.
Yeah.
Well, you said you're staying here, Kren?
Yeah, I'll stay here. I've got something I want to work on for Mulek. These kind of weapons laying about reminded me that he wasn't too happy with the daggers he was using, so I think I'll take one of them big logs outside and try and whittle it down to a bit of a quarterstaff size.
Okay, cool. Well, be safe. We won't be gone long.
Oh, yeah, I something like a pet project. I don't think I'll finish it by the time you get back.
All right, we'll keep our new guests over there company.
Yeah, it's also that, honestly, I don't really know them. I don't trust them, so I'll keep the rest of the gang safe. We got Biff the Griffin, we got the Iron Golem here too. Yeah, we'll be fine.
All right.
So as I understand it, and I want to make sure that all the players agree with this, that Thaldohr, Bell, and Des are going to go with the helm to Phandalin. When they get there and they get Bag of Nails safely in the care of the Thieves Guild, Bell and Des can ask the questions that they need to ask him and find out any information he can give them. Then they will come back. Meanwhile, that leaves Krenraid and Thaldohr and the new character in
Mulek,
who has laryngitis tonight. So
he's deep in meditation about a new spell. No problem.
There you go. They will be left behind, so we can do a couple little scenes while that's gone, or we can do one scene depending on who all is available to chat during that time. Do I have that right? Is everybody on board with that?
Sure.
Sounds good.
Okay. Belle, you as the other Tabaxi, is there anything that you, since Bag of Nails is being taken away from Omu, taken away from Chult, by the party's reckoning for his own safety, is there anything you would want to carry with you so that you could give it to him or give it to the people that are going to take care of him? Anything looking around here that you would try to take with you?
Whenever they were investigating the whole place, you said something about like little tiny valuables from the possible village, mementos, things like that.
Yes.
Bella does not feel like he is deserving of them anymore. So anything shiny or things like that, she will stick in her bag of holding.
Okay.
But that being said, his long bow that he had, not a short sword, but he will bring his long bow, and she'll bring the broken arrows that aren't put together with her as well. And she'll kind of shove that in a small bag to give to... I know his name. Why am I blanking on it? What? Ow! Gypsy! Oh, where on my sunburn? Oh!
Right on the critical spot at maximum damage.
Ouch! Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
Your memory.
Thaldohr's
be
uncle.
okay.
My leg's just weeping. It's okay.
Bell just got belled.
Yeah.
You did just slash another cat in the face. It's revenge.
True. But yeah,
Okay.
so she'll give them. My cat's attacking me. I'm sorry.
No, take 5. Do we defend yourself?
Okay, all right. So
She'll give them to the people who are going to keep him captive.
Okay.
But not around him, so he doesn't have access to them unless they deem him worthy.
Okay. All right. So, Thaldohr, the three of you get ready, and you.
Of course, if she can find a photo of his son, she would love to give it to him too. But
there's no. He doesn't have any photos or even any drawings of his son, that are here. So, you guys teleport off. And you appear in front of Dorzafir in the bar there in Phandalin. Before we go to that, let's look at the folks left behind for just a moment. So, Krenraid, you were going to start with something here. What were you going to do?
So there's a couple of things, but I think most the priority would be in order to try and go out and try and forage for a sturdy looking stick to whittle down into a quarter stick. That's not how you say it. Quarterstaff, that's the one. Quarter stick. To whittle into a quarterstaff with a knobbed head, to allow, hopefully, Mulek to do a bit more damage in those situations where he needs a weapon that he can use instead of his daggers. Because Krenraid noted that he wasn't happy with them when we were fighting in the "this is the best day of my life" pit that Krenraid was in earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd probably be doing that. And then he also wants to look for the red robe, see if that's still around. Because he said he was skinning people. So I'm kind of Krenraid's probably thinking, or maybe he skinned the red-robed priest as well. So maybe that there's something on him, like on his red robe or some tattoos or something around here that might be useful. And then, of course, after that, my most importantly is keeping an eye on the newcomer that's lying on the floor. Of course, the ever-changing shapeshifter newcomer in the Skyrim character creation loading screen. That finger waggling's weird, man.
Yeah, every time you look, wait a minute. I thought those pants were brown. Now they're more blue. Oh, wait, no. Now they're kind of black. Now they're gray. Okay, so you find a nice representative piece of wood that is sturdy and could be shaped down. It is free of knots, and the grain is good. It's not cracked or warped or anything like that. So you think that with a little bit of work, you could turn this into a fine quarterstaff, and
Perfect.
a little bit of work, meaning the kind of project time that Krenraid wants to put in on it.
Yeah, that's it. It's going to be a multi-pronged process, but I can at least start it, while they're doing the rest.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for the message from Discord. We will then pivot back over to the bar in Phandalin, and the three of you appear along with a bag of nails slung over Thaldohr's shoulder. And Dorzafir says, Well there, boy. How are you doing?
Uncle, it's been a minute and it's been rough. Trying to save the world again. Mordenkainen's got us running here, there, and everywhere.
Yes, now this is a Tabaxi.
Yes, from Omu.
Des kind of chuckles. He's got good eyes.
He's been around.
Oh, wait. Omu. Omu in the jungles of Chult?
Yeah.
So it really exists.
Didn't believe the stories you used to tell me when I was young, but yeah, it exists.
Well, I'll be honest. I didn't half believe them either, but when the news of this death curse came around, and then stories started linking it to Chult, and some people whispered Omu, I was wondering if they were half crazy. So,
Well, Mordenkainen sent us, and we're working on that as we speak.
oh my goodness. Well then, who is this fellow? And why are you bringing him to me? I got your message, but I wasn't sure I understood it all.
He's not a bad guy. He's really in a bad place. His son was kidnapped in Omu. He went a little crazy. So we just want to help him, and my friends here have some questions for him. So if we could put him up, keep an eye on him, he might be useful to you while we're gone.
So now you say he's a little... His experiences have made him a little crazy, the word that you used.
Yeah, a little...
should we consider him dangerous to us or perhaps dangerous to himself?
Both. So I would just keep an eye on him, keep him occupied. Just right now, we might want to tie him to a chair because you remember my good master dwarf friend Krenraid. He just knocked him out because he tried to poison us with midnight tears.
Oh, dangerous to others. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. But someone who knows the manufacture of midnight tears.
I told you.
Now I see why you thought of us. If we can get him into a better frame of mind, yes, indeed, he might be very, very useful to us. Good thinking, my boy. Well, Mistress Tabaxi, he says with a little bow towards Bell. Master Furbolg, he says with a nod of his head, let us help you get this gentleman settled. And he snaps his fingers, and a couple of big bouncer burly types come over, and they very easily but also surprisingly gently pick this guy up and take him over, and at Dorzafir's direction, they take him over to a very sturdy, very heavy wooden chair. It's not a fancy chair, but it's got a high back. It's got a cushion in the seat and kind of a cushion on the back. Big, heavy oak arms, big, heavy ladder back on it. And they bind his wrists to the armrest and his ankles to the legs. And it seems they bind him firmly, but not so firmly that they're gonna break his skin or anything like that. But he's kind of held in place. And he's just sort of still slumped over, unconscious while all this is happening. So that takes a couple of minutes to get him settled.
Belle gives them a little few pointers, even though they know what they're doing. Is, hey, he has claws. Watch out. He can probably break free easily. She'll also go over to Dorzafir, and she'll have this little bag that she has like over her shoulder, and she'll kind of pass it out to him with the big, huge bow sticking out, and says, "Well, maybe you might have a use for him while he's like here, and maybe. So here's some broken arrows that he can asphyxiate his time on and his bow. He really likes his bow, even though if I could, I would break it over his neck."
And
Mud?
and Dorzafir looks at you, and his eyes go wide, and he looks in there. He says, "Oh, wow! The craftsmanship on these arrows is very fine, very fine." And he says, "My lady, I will keep these safe, and we will think on when he is ready for them. If what my nephew says is true, that he tried to poison you, I'll watch him very carefully before I let him have any weapons. And thank you for the pointers about his claws. I will be sure we watch for those, and that we try not to hurt him if we can help him."
Trust your judgment. So can I do the honors of waking him up yet? She'll kind of rub her hands together and stick out her nails.
And Dorzafir says, "I think we're good." And his men nod, and they all take a couple of steps back. And so you're ready. And then you kind of notice, or the other two of you notice some commotion, and some people come out of the kitchen. And they're bringing a couple of pitchers. Clearly, one is a pitcher of water. There's a loaf of fresh baked bread. There's a plate that has some potatoes on it. There's a little bowl that has some butter in it. And there's also kind of a small little plate that has a bit of meat of some kind on it. Smells pretty good. But that they put that over on a table kind of closer to Dorzafir and a little bit away from the Tabaxi that's tied up to the chair. But clearly it's like, oh, somebody might need some food at some point.
Interesting.
So, Belle, you can go ahead.
Okay. You say so. Claw him to wake him up. Just normal, right?
Oh, okay. All right. So you reach out and you smack him in the face with your claws. And once again, some little beads of blood well up in his fur. And Dorzafir, his eyes go wide a little bit, and he cuts his eyes and he looks over at Thaldohr, like, with a look like he wasn't expecting that.
And Belle just still looks pleased.
I face palm, shake my head, and shrug my shoulders like, "Oh, that's just Belle."
And Bag of Nails splutters, what? Oh, and he looks up and he says, "Oh, it's you again." And then he begins to look around. He says, "Where am I?"
Your worst nightmare.
Worst nightmare?
Don't ask stupid questions. I'm not going to give you the answer. Like, sheesh, you think I'm your mom or something. And she'll kind of like just like a snarl at him. And then in Tabaxi, she'll say, "This gullible." So gullible. She'll kind of like wave Des to answer his questions because he's awake now.
Yeah, he is. His eyes are kind of looking around, and when he looks beyond Bell and he sees a room full of humans, mostly. There may be one or two half elves, maybe a half orc, among the people there. He stiffens and his eyes go very wide, and he
Des will actually kind of get in front of him and kneel down so that he's more eye to eye. And he will say, "Great Master Bag of Nails, we want to help you find your son. This may not seem like it, however, we wish you to stay calm, and we will return if we can find this." Damn it, cat. We must be all nuts tonight.
Well, the cats are anyway.
If we can find this, is it Moon's Navel?
Navel of the Moon.
Navel of the Moon, okay. And we will bring it back to you. But in the meantime, we do not want you to do yourself a harm. And so to watch you, to make sure that you do not harm yourself, we have brought you here for the time being. These individuals are ordered not to harm you, and in fact try to treat you with respect. So we would hope that you would trust us, since we have not killed you, to be able to help you in a way while trying to get you to relax. Or
you bring me to this den of the hunters, the ones who came to my village and slaughtered my people.
These are not the hunters. These are...
How can you tell? All of the pig skins, they all look alike.
And he turns to look at Thaldohr. Do you wish to explain who they are and how you trust them?
Yes. Bag of Nails. This is my family that you're looking at. They're going to take care of you and might be able to work out a good trade with you once you're able to be trusted. We will help look for your son. These people will be your caregivers while you're gone. Okay? You're in a safe place, far away from Omu.
He kind of looks around, and his gaze kind of catches, and then it sort of does a double take when he looks at one of the far walls, and he sees the skull of the white dragon that Dorzafir and his companions killed. And then as he looks around, he kind of seems to catch out of the corner of his eye and looks up, and then his eyes go wide as he sees the skull of Imrith. And he says, "I have come to the Hall of the Hunters. I am among great hunters here."
Oh, you're talking about that?
Great
hunters. Yeah. I killed Imrith with my friends here. I made the killing blow. You're welcome.
You want me to believe that one such of you is a noble hunter like me?
Uncle, tell him.
Well, you've learned from the best. She'll kind of like clean her claws out from his blood and yuck on the floor.
And Dorzafir says, "Yep, the boy's telling you right. Myself and my friends, we killed that small dragon yonder." And he points over at the skull of the white dragon. "We thought we had done ourselves something proud. But then my nephew and his friends, they gotta go one-up me. And they bring this monstrosity to the bar. Lacta never got it up there. Had to shore up the entire trusses holding up the second floor just to keep that thing from falling down. Boy, you cause me some trouble even when you bring me a nice present. But now, Mr. Bag of Nails, they speak the truth. We will care for you. We will not harm you. We'll try to keep you from hurting yourself. Now, my good wife, she baked some bread. She's got some meat and some potatoes. And we will feed you if you're hungry. We've gotta keep an eye on you. We know you tried to hurt my nephew, and I don't want to take kindly for that, but I promised him I'd look after you. And I'm a man of my word. And I give you my word that if you can earn our trust, I know you have some skills that, well, let's just say we might be able to make a very profitable arrangement for you. And if these here say they're going to look for your son, you can believe they're going to look for your son. You can bring him back, they will. They can bring back a way to find him, they will. Bag of Nails looks at him, says, "That bread does smell delicious." And then he looks at Dez, and he looks over at Belle. He says, "I believe you said you have questions. Therefore, ask your questions. It appears I'm not going anywhere." And he kind of almost shrugs. It's not like he's trying to struggle against his bonds. He's just sort of shrugging in his chair.
I look up at Belle to see if she wants to ask the questions first.
Belle will turn to him in a nice tone to say, "Wherever you wrote, what was it, boss or
King?
King? When you wrote King, I've heard lots of drums and chanting coming from that area. Who's King?"
Oh, you talk of the King of Feathers. He's a crafty one, that one. Big as a tree, and fast as the wind. And you can find him, and you'd better hope you find him before he finds you. For if he sees you, he can be on you in the blink of an eye. And you don't want to get too close to those teeth. I've seen what happens to folk that get too close to those teeth. And I'll tell you, it's not pretty. But the drums, I think you must be thinking of the brood of Rasnis, his unholy kind. Half men, half snake. They are over there. They have claimed the largest and most ancient temple in the city, one that exists from the time before the trickster gods. That is what they have claimed for themselves. There they do their dark rituals to Dendar the Night Serpent. The drums, when you hear those, you know that they are pouring out blood in the hopes of swiftning the return of their dark, prophesied god. You'll stay away from them if you know what's good for you.
And then she'll look over to Des. That answers my question for you.
And just out of character, I want to confirm that when he's talking, the map that we found, were there marks on there indicating where he'd been told where those were?
He made marks on there. It's not clear whether he made those marks because he's been there or whether he made those marks because somebody told him stuff was there.
Did we bring the map with us, or
No.
we left it there?
No, but you have seen. You had a chance to study the map for a while before you came, so you would be familiar with things. So if you want to ask him about anything on the map, you as a player can kind of look at the map and figure out what you would ask him about.
Okay, so basically he'll look at he's still kind of resting on a knee, and he will look at Bag of Nails and go, the map we found in your area. I would like to ask some questions about some of the locations that you have marked down. Are any of those locations the places that you were told to look for the stone, the navel of the moon?
Yes. Said it would be under a shrine of some kind, and I found 9 of those shrines, which, from my understanding, what I've pieced together from the script that's left in that place, these people they venerated 9 gods. Well, first they venerated one god. I think that's the one that's in the big temple. And then after he left, for whatever reason, they venerated 9 more. And those small ones, I marked with you to see if I could find anything under them. I went, and I could not locate anything beneath them, but I know they are filled with traps. And there are deadly creatures that lurk around many of them. I had to sneak very carefully to avoid being attacked.
I see. May I ask if you know what this stone looks like, this item looks like?
I was told by the wizard in red that it is the largest moonstone you've ever seen, the size of 2 men's fists put together, and carved from the very heart of the jewel of the night itself. And when you gaze into its depths and you think on someone you know, it will show you a vision of where they are, and it will give you an idea of how to get there. That is what he said. Of course. He was tricksy.
Yes. Well, we will do our best to see if we can find it. We can make no guarantees because it could cost us our lives, or we may be lucky enough to locate it when we are on the search for our own things. If we find it, you will be the first that we bring it to. And with luck, you will be able to know where your son is, or at least what has happened to him. And that is on my word as a deep seeker for Bolg.
I feel like these humans will give me not much choice but to wait.
I would hope that you would wait without needing to be restrained and do nothing to yourself. Or if we do all this work and we are lucky and come back and you are gone, then there was no reason for us to endanger ourselves for this very reason.
You speak like a father of many cubs. Well, I will.
Des kind of gives him kind of this little bit of a raised eyebrow, like,
I will give you my word that I will not harm myself by my own hand.
Very well. That is all we ask.
May the lords of the hunt favor your weapons. May you find your prey. May they fall before you.
And Des simply gives a nod and says, and with luck, we will find answers for you.
A trophy. If my son no longer lives, bring me a trophy so that I may know that whatever killed him has also been slain.
Very well. And that time, and so the Furbolg gets up and gives him a nod of respect and then steps away. I think I have what we need.
Fair.
And Dorsafir nods and looks over at Thaldohr and says, "Well, lad, be careful.
I will, Uncle.
You're going into a dangerous place, and you know, one thing that cat said rings true. If there's any trophies to be found from this Omu, if you can spare me something, I'd be curious to see what you can bring back."
I'll see what I can find if I get out of there with my life.
I hope so, lad. I hope so.
Taught me well. We'll see how far it goes. But as for you, Mr. Bag of Nails, I have one last thing to say. You promised my fur friend that you wouldn't harm yourself. But I ask you kindly, don't harm my friends or my family, because they're only here to help.
He looks at you, and there's kind of a very stern look in his eyes for a moment, and then kind of a smile breaks onto his face, and he says, "You learn quick for a human. Very well. Since you are a fast study, I will promise you no harm will come to your friends by my hands. I give you my word.
Or any action that you take.
No more poison. I should kind of like smack him in his ear lightly, just to feel a breeze, not an actual hit. But watch him flinch.
Yes, he does. He does flinch a little bit from that, which is different behavior. He's kind of acting like somebody that maybe thinks he has something to live for now, as opposed to somebody that all he thought is that he had something to die for before. And so then
Following question before we leave.
Okay, go ahead.
West. West of the king, we've heard some growling and screaming and things like that. What would that be for? Almost like it's in a stadium.
Oh, that would probably be the king on the hunt. That is his cry when he has spotted his prey, or after he has taken them down. His cry of victory. It rings out across the whole city. That's why he's the king.
Must have been that weird thing I saw that night on Watch.
Val would nod her head, and then she'll have this emotionalist look, kind of break with a smile as she'll kind of pet his head, almost like an adult would do to a cub. And say, I really wish one day you can rebuild your tribe too.
And when you say that, there's just kind of this look of sadness that comes into his eyes. But then that's followed by a bit of a look of resolve. And he just slowly and slightly nods towards you. Doesn't say anything.
She won't say anything either. She'll just turn and be ready to teleport.
Okay.
Whenever.
Ready to go?
Dorazafira will raise a hand and just sort of to give a slow wave to you all. And the other humans, they're kind of standing around. Some of them have their eyes on Bag of Nails. Many of them are looking at the three of you and just sort of giving you kind of hopeful, solemn, kind nods.
Back to the den we go.
Okay, and you teleport out. All right, so back in Omu, you reappear. And you find all of the same people that were there before.
Okay.
Looks like Paul got disconnected.
Okay. All right. Okay, that sounds good. All right, so let's see.
I give the helm back to Fowler and I go, wow, this thing's one heck of a ride.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It served us pretty well.
Bag of Tricks
Yeah.
is apparently going to help us in Phandalin. I figured out his little trick. Literally.
All right, so the woman that is there, she is really tired, and it looks like she might need a little chance to rest before you try to leave this place. And given that we had Paul get disconnected, so do we want to keep going till the top of the hour, or do we want to kind of call it here and pick up at this point next time?
I'd say next week we'll have everybody. We should be doing pretty good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's only 20 minutes. But
Yeah, that sounds good. I will like that idea. All right. Well, that sounds great. So that way, I know that some of you guys have had a long day and have a long day ahead tomorrow. And so that will be nice to give you a chance to maybe get a little early shut-eye. Viewers, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We hope you have enjoyed our session. We didn't get as much combat or dice rolling as I thought we might get into, but that's fine. We took as long as we needed to do what needed to be done. I want to let you know, coming up on the channel on Saturday, we will be having our Saturday night game, our second edition Saturday night Greyhawk game. Sunday afternoon, we are going to be here with a Sword Coast Chronicles game at the usual time, 2 p.m. Eastern, and where the party will begin a debriefing from their journey to Rook as they get reacquainted with some of the sponsors and mentors and other folks that they have there in Waterdeep. Then Monday night, we will be continuing our look at the monsters out of the Critical Role source book, The Call of the Netherdeep, and this will be a look at the Light Devourer, which is an underwater monster. So we'll talk about that monster, kind of where it comes from, and how you can maybe make homebrew variants to challenge different tiers of adventurers in your own campaign. Michael, before we go, are you going to be doing any streaming this week? Anything you want people to know about?
I might
before we
be
meet?
doing some variety streaming next Tuesday and Wednesday, so just stop by the channel and let's have a fun time.
Okay, and you can find Michael over at twitch.tv/Doors of Fear. Put that in the chat for everyone. Go check him out there. And we didn't get call back, did we? No. Okay. All right. Any other announcements before we sign off for the evening? Alrighty then. Those of you who are involved in back to school, whether you have kids going back to school or whether you're involved in the education system, good luck. Have a safe and great week, and hope the term goes well for everybody involved. And we will see you next time here on the Twitch. If you are watching us on Twitch and you made it this far, go ahead and consider subscribing to the channel, or at least give us a follow. And if you've watched us on the archives over on YouTube, would love it if you subscribe to the channel, like the video, share the video, and click the post notification bell so that you're notified every time new content drops. Take care, everyone, and
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.